Alright, Michael J. Here we are on A.G.A.S.T Street, the beginning of your custom video tour of my open studio. This is the banner for the tour, letting people know this is location 10 here at 609 A.G.A.S.T Street. Pushing open the main door. Here's some literature for us to distribute to visiting patrons. Not that anyone was really making it on a rainy, nasty day like today, but up the stairs of the studio we climb, headed toward the second floor where the studio is located. And you'll see the third floor is roped off so no one gets bothered. That is Katie's studio down the hall, and here is one of my paintings that you've seen before. Yes, the number 2, verifying that we're on the second floor. That is Pablo, or half of him unrolled. And this is looking in the main hallway of the studio. I actually forgot to turn the light on in this part of the hallway, so things look a little dark here. It's a painting I did in Bushwick on corrugated cardboard. You may remember that one. I think I have a picture up online, but this is another one done on a found canvas that I painted over, and we're coming up on Jack Johnson, or my own interpretation of Jack Johnson, and looking straight ahead, it's hard to keep up with the pace of my camera. On the left is one of my sheet paintings. We're walking back. The one in the main view is the only thing I've painted, well, the only big work I've painted since being in the studio. Now we're scanning, panning and scanning to 5 pictures of Solzhenitsyn that I did. Back to Jack Johnson. Clearly this narration is coming after the video was shot, which is why it's hard to keep pace. The painting you're going to see on the right is something my friend Brandon called 50% Zen, and I kind of like that title. It's the one in the background. The one in the foreground with the woman's face, that was the dissident Aung San Suu Kyi from Burma, Myanmar. This is one of my large sheet paintings, and I think you actually had a picture of this up in your room that I'd printed out. And straight ahead we have a painting done on cardboard. Well, there's something on cardboard done with marker. Here we're moving in toward Obama, a line sketch, buff white on unprimed canvas, and I'd stretched this on an old piece of ladder that I found. This is the view out of the French doors, and everyone on the tour seemed to come up and take a look out, so I thought it only fair that I do the same thing on the video tour. So that's like a fish distribution place right across the street. I don't know. Here is a sort of crazy graffiti version of Steve Jobs. Spray paint over some acrylic on a translucent canvas, actually. And there's my favorite shipping crate, Mr. Fitzgerald, that I dragged off the sidewalk in Carroll Gardens. Here is a picture of Barney Frank from the Financial Times. And this is one of the little buckets on wheels where I'm storing my supplies. This one is carrying most of my paint in tubes, that is. I really like those, and this is that work on cardboard that's done with marker and correction tape and a bit of whiteout at the bottom. And that's an easel I picked up for $20 on the street. It's a little rickety and doesn't really work that well. And here you can see how I stretched the painting on a sheet. I'm using these long thin planks of wood, and clamped them together. There is once again that 50% Zen, and you're looking at the area of my studio where I store these big stretchers most of the time in the ladder. Back here I had them all tucked in there before I put them out for the open studio, and the bookcase with some more storage, a ladder, one of my rolled canvases, and just peeking behind that sheet painting to show that there you can see how it's stretched on those very thin planks of wood with bricks at the bottom, and they're screwed in at the top. Now walking across to these Solzhenitsyns, this one sort of struck me as a book cover. It's a little simpler. It's paint, and then the sketch of Solzhenitsyn is done using an oil stick, ochre oil stick, yellow ochre, okra. I'm not going to eat it. That was the kind of intense camo design on the left, a more realistic one in the center, and panning around to this more intense line sketch that's sitting on a piece of IKEA cardboard, and that's a more dissolved line sketch that still seems part of the series to me. Here's Aung San Suu Kyi again, the Myanmar dissident, from another Financial Times cover photo, and my brushes and some wax paper that I use for a palette. And down in there's some other supplies, painting trays, little plastic bowls that I put water in, and some paint rollers. And here are just a couple pieces of plywood that I've sort of spray painted when I first moved in here. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with those or what those are, but they're just out. And that's, colors don't really come through in the video, but that's a pretty bright, kooky painting based on Wagner's Ring Cycle. And here are some just more abstract works, the poet Mayakovsky in bronze. And these are some odd framings that I did of some tempera paintings and drawings. You can see one of the Hillary Clinton postcards was framed out. And here are some t-shirts in the back and flowers that Suzuki-san gave me. He wasn't able to make it this weekend because he's moving, but pretty thoughtful of him to leave those. Here's another cart that I set up. It has tools underneath, but this is a little database I built the night before to capture anyone who wanted to sign up for a mailing list. I got about 3 people, and I already knew them, but it's nice to have a database rather than just a book, I thought. And these are the little cards that I ordered, the business cards that have some images of me painting and one of my paintings. I know they're not in clear focus, but they're tiny little cards. Here's a painting that I did in Bushwick also that's on the floor. It was too large to hang it anywhere once things were up. And a drafting table, and those are the IKEA Gorm bookcases that I installed. And these are 2 sketches of Leni Riefenstahl with some spray paint added around this sketch. I had to comment that it looked like one of the elder George Bush, I think, and there she is, some abstract painting around her. And this is just going over some of the shirts. You see a couple bananas hanging on the lamp there for snacks during the day, during this extended long studio. You also see just a variety of the t-shirts. I did show these before. The little Mr. Coffee that I picked up in Middletown when I visited, and my printer, and some more shirts, my hot cold bag, and this is my workstation, the computer office side of things. And you see the Purell by the flowers. Looks a little bizarre, but 'tis the season. And this is a large painting that I did in Dumbo, and I know you have a picture of this one too. This is it in a large scale in person. And now I'm just circling around again, taking a look at this is Fafner, the giant from the Ring Cycle, from Das Rheingold. And a closer look at that abstract, kind of colorful abstract painting that I panned over before, getting a little bit closer to it. And then we're going to look down. This is just a sketch on newsprint that I hammered into a wooden canvas, and this is that Mayakovsky, the Russian poet, in bronze paint, a line sketch, and I sort of propped him up as if he's a bust more than a painting. Because that's always how I felt about that work. You can see I have the bench and extra chairs in here for the open studio. And that's a little tempera painting of Jeff Bewkes, Time Warner CEO. There's Ernst Ludwig Kirchner from the Brick, German Expressionist art movement, a line sketch on just yellow pad paper, and there's one of the Hillary Clinton postcards. That's Roy Cohn from the cover of his book, which I just found for $1 and thought was preposterous, and that's a trader from a picture that appeared in the Financial Times. Financial trader, not traitor, though we could debate that one a bit, I guess. Walking over the table, on our way past the flowers, on our way out now. And my old legal aid business card, The Investigator, on the front door.